Hey there, it's Rick Khan from rickkarn.com, and in this video I'm going to reveal the truth about how to test your Facebook ads, specifically showing you the right way how to structure, create the creative, and how to test the ad set audiences and know how many ads you should be doing within them. And if you stay all the way till the end, I'll give you 3 rapid fire tips that you should be doing immediately to maximize your return on ad spend. Now, the truth is, this part of advertising is probably the most important part you'll ever do when running your Facebook ads, because without this, you'll spend a bunch of money and lose it fast, and things can get messy. But once you get this testing phase down correctly, everything from here is just all about optimizing and scaling. So let's get straight into it. Now, in order to structure your testing campaigns, you've got to first know what is your overall budget. How much can you afford to invest in advertising? Because you want to make sure that you have enough to try different ad sets and ads to make sure you're getting the most from your testing. Because the more you can spread your interests out and add multiple creatives, this will ultimately give you faster results, so you'll know which are the winners and losers in the shortest time possible. Now, I personally recommend starting from at least $50 a day to spend over a 14-day period if you have zero data and are testing your market to get just so you get sufficient data back. But if you already have a very good idea and have a strong process, then running each ad set for at least 4 to 7 days or until you break even with your ad spend, or even going 2 times the amount of your CPA. However, if you're on a low budget, you can still do this with around $5 to $10 a day. It will be a bit slower to figure things out, but it can be done. Now, what most marketers won't tell you is that when testing your ads, is that most of your advertising spend will get zapped up quickly if you don't have your message and offer down. But ultimately, it will be worth the investment when you start to recoup this money from your winning ads that lead to multiple back-end offers and making sure you scale correctly. So now, once we have the budget down, let's get into the structure of putting together your testing campaign, which is to set up a new campaign that's different from all other campaigns, such as your retargeting or scale campaign. So with that said, here's a good structure to use. You want to use between 3 to 10 ad sets with around 500,000 to 3 million audience in each ad set, trying to spread out as many of these audiences as possible, using around 2 to 6 ads in each ad set and testing at least 1 to 3 copy variations with 1 or 2 creatives. Now, you can use different ad formats, such as using video, image, and carousels, just to help figure out which will work best for your audience. Then to mention, when setting the budget, make sure to use ad set budget optimization over CBO, so you can have the control over the ad spend on each ad set that you test. Now, which audiences should you use in the ad set level? Well, with interest audiences, this can have usually a very small number within them. And what I generally suggest is that you can either bundle them all together. So if you have multiple interests with less than 200,000, just compile them all together. And with lookalike audiences, I usually separate these, or sometimes I even bundle them together as well. Some people will suggest don't bundle your lookalikes, but I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to testing, and I have found very good results from doing both. So either bundle them or don't bundle them, because ultimately what works for me will be different for anyone else. And ultimately the key here is that you have to test to find what works best for you. But next you have is the creative testing. Now, when testing your creative, I have a separate video sharing more in depth about this, where I'll link the video in the description below. But the goal here is to visually represent your hook and angle in different ways using image, video, and carousels. A hook idea, and test which visual representation is best that communicates your message to your best audience. Using around 1 or 2 hook creatives is enough to start with, because when you first begin testing a new campaign, the truth is you want to focus on the copy first, making sure your message, hook, and angle are compelling for your audience to take an action on. Now, once you get this all down, then it's time to decide on the winners and losers. Now, making decisions with your winners and losers, you never want to make a decision based from what you think is good or bad. Always use the data to make the decisions. With the winners, if you've spent more than the break-even point or even 2 times your cost per acquisition. Now, if you've spent more than the break-even point or even 2 times your cost per acquisition and still haven't got any results, then turn them off. Especially if you got nothing at all, with data suggesting it just won't work. Don't spend more because Facebook will unlikely get you a customer after this point. But let's say if you get a sale and then you go over the 2 times the result of your customer's value and still haven't got any other sales after that, I would still personally keep it going, because Facebook ads can suddenly just get you customers out the blue, because really it all depends on your buyers' spending habits. It could be near the end of the month when people get paid from work and they start buying then, or it could even be seasons where someone's on holiday, but when they get back, all of a sudden their usual routine is to start scrolling and spending again on their platform. And I've had this many times done where my ads are going past 3 times the limit, and then all of a sudden I get a bunch of sales in one single day, and this can repeat, so be wary of this. And finally, here are my 3 final tips, which first is make sure to set up Google Tag Manager. You see, I don't ever trust the Facebook Ads Manager's results. It's never been accurate in the past, and it certainly isn't accurate now. You want to have some sort of third-party software, but Google Tag Manager can do the job. It's what I use to analyze my data more accurately, because ultimately, if Facebook doesn't show you which ad set is getting the results, or at times can give you inaccurate data, where I've had purchases showing in some ad sets, but in Google Analytics, it just shows a complete different ad set that got that purchase. This is why I wouldn't trust the data in there. Now, if you do want a tutorial on this, just let me know in the comments below. And then the second tip is keep everything simple. I hate to overcomplicate and focus on every detail, such as my, for example, click-through rates, my cost per clicks, impressions, and so on. My focus, and always will be, is on the end result, which is the cost per customer or cost per lead. If these numbers are doing well, then let it run and don't concern yourself with any other number. And then the final tip is to only change one variable at a time. If you change your copy and creative at the same time, how do you know what works? This can be a common mistake from a lot of beginner marketers. You only need to change one thing at a time and then wait to see the result. And the biggest change that I focus on is the hooks and angles. And then finally, have I missed anything? Now, you can put a comment below if you think I didn't mention something you need help with, and I'll do my best to help you out. But until then, don't forget to help get this video out by sharing and liking the video. And until then, I'll see you in the next video.